Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of Chill Adventures, and welcome to my office. Some would call this a garage, but I call it a workspace. It's nice, actually this is a fabulous place to do this, because do these repairs, because it's insulated on this side. It's not a huge area, but I can keep it between 70 and 80 degrees when it is ultra cold outside. My storage unit isn't climate controlled. And yeah, so this is a fabulous place to do this. Get a little sneak peek of my office, as it were. But we've got the 8.0, arguably my favorite board, most special board between this and the 6.4, and Cat's 9.0. I walked around the board, showed you guys the dings on this one. They're pretty substantial. The ones on Cat's board aren't as big, but they're equal. One in the rail, one in the tail. We are going to do Q-cell resin today. Get all of these things filled. And then tomorrow, we're going to do the fiberglass. So yeah, we're going to do the 8 first. I was kind of going back and forth on what I wanted to do, but pretty self-explanatory. Now, I've done a couple videos where I've fixed dings, but never this comprehensive. I've never cleaned them out like I've done, taken all the broken glass off, cleaned the foam out. We're really going to do this right. Kevin has been fixing this board. I just don't know when I'm going to see him next. The only part of this tail that is still intact is the part that he fixed, and I believe he did Q-cell resin and then fiberglass over it. Friends, I showed you guys this ding-all kit, and as we use this stuff, I will explain it as we go. We've got we got everything we need. A bunch of different sandpaper from the prep to the finish. Like I said, I have already de-waxed these boards. I've taken the fiberglass that was shattered and broken and trash out of these dings already, cleaned out the crappy foam that was in there. So all we're going to do is we're going to get right into the mixing, the filling, and yeah, there's not going to be a lot of fluff for this one. I think this is my first real repair video where I'm actually doing it the right way. And we have a special reason for doing this. The lakes are frozen like a witch's titty, and we're not going to be surfing here for a few more months, maybe a month. But we're taking a trip, and I'm not going to blow it now, but I believe we're going to take all of our boards. The 6.4, the 7.0, Cat's brand new 8-foot Billabong foamy, my 8.0, and her 9. I'm not exactly sure, but we're going to figure it out. At any rate, both ocean trips so far, I haven't used this 8.0 like I should. And I think this trip, I am. So keep an eye out for that. The subscribers have been rolling in at a favorable and consistent pace. I appreciate you guys. Also, friends, if you don't know about the pickle wax remover, you can buy this on Amazon. I'm sure they've got their own website. The pickle, this is arguably the best wax remover. There is this little thing, it looks like a cup. I want to try it. I never have. That thing looks like it works good too, but I am here to tell you that the pickle wax remover does an amazing job. Alright guys, I'm going to clean up that mouth mount. We're going to get some shots set up. Let's fix these boards. Let's go! All right, friends. Well, that first application was far too low on the Q cell, and as you saw, as we kept going with the rail side, it got thicker and thicker, and so I did decide to get that little popsicle stick inside of these dings to get the less Q cell resin mixed with the more Q cell resin, and then I kind of smoothed it all out. So I think this side's going to be good. It is already starting to coagulate, so I'm going to wait a few minutes, change the battery. I did do a couple spots on the back, but I didn't have enough Q cell in it, so it's running out, and I'm just going to hold off. I think I have a good mixture of Q cell and resin now. I'm going to really give the tail a good go over. I had that top on the top deck, or the spot on the top of the deck. Yeah, so we'll get back at it. Let's go. All right, guys. So that the resin Q cell mix started to hard up on me pretty quick. So I went and hit the 9. This one, dude, this, like other things similar, is just not my forte. But I'm learning. So next time, you got to use a lot of Q cell. It's your friend here. So like I said, as the Q cell started to thicken, and I realized it was going to be fairly runny, I went over every spot again. I actually used my finger for these rails on the dings on the side, because they're deeper than the ones on the back. So I got in there, made sure all of the Q cell rich resin was in deep, and then I kept going over the top and over the top. The back and the 9, I did them second, and this spot on top, I did those after I had kind of figured out that I had a very Q cell low mixture. Everything looks good. I'll sand this just a little bit below the original glass. That way when I put the new glass over it, it'll match up a little bit better. But I'll probably use 2 sheets for this entire spot on the tail, just because of how much beating it gets. I used a lot of Q-cell back here too. The 9, I think this board is going to be a utility board. I'm pretty sure once Kat gets the hang of the 8-foot foaming, she's going to want an 8-foot hardboard. That's just a little bit more maneuverable than this. This is a great board, but I'm not too worried about these things. I might not even put fiberglass over these. I'm not sure yet. But friends, for now, that's that. Today is Friday. We call it Fuck Off Friday around these parts. But I think I'm going to come in tomorrow, Saturday. I'll probably glass all of this stuff in. That way, by Sunday or Monday, I'll have this completely finished up. And then, friends, like I said, we've got a trip coming up. And it's not that far away. I'm not going to spill the beans. We're going someplace cool. We haven't been there yet. And we're out there, folks. Thankfully, the magic of television tomorrow comes for you in just a few seconds. Hello friends, welcome back to the board repair video. Just seconds removed from yesterday, and what a great thing it is, the magic of television. Now, everything cured perfectly. There's no weirdness here, other than my subpar ability to fix certain things. The only thing I think that's going to be a pain in the ass right now, today, first of all, today we are going to sand down all of these spots and then put some fiberglass over them. I have just enough resin to do everything, I believe, but obviously we're going to start with the board. And I don't know which spot I'm going to start with. I think I'm going to at least use 2 sheets for the tail. And the only thing with the tail is I'm going to have to flip it over first, put a little bit of resin on this side. I just don't want to mess with this logo here at all. It'll have to get covered a little bit for continuity's sake. You can see how far Kevin came over with his, but I think the tail was actually broke that far down anyways. But I'm gonna sand down a little bit, but I don't want to mess with this logo too much. That's the only thing. I think I'm gonna have to use 2 pieces, so I might use 4 pieces of fiberglass on the tail just to strengthen it. This will just be 1 piece each. I think I'm gonna use light layer of glass and 1 piece of fiberglass each, so I'm not trying to do too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't need to do too much here. With that board, I don't know if I'm going to even use any fiberglass. When we did the Q-cell and the resin, when I did Kat's board, it had already started, so it was at like the perfect consistency to like get all the way in those dings, and then stay exactly kind of how I put it. The tail on this one did as well, but this side on the rail, this is where I started, and my original, as you saw just moments ago, my mixture was not thick enough, so a lot of it ran out. There's even some drips on the ground here, but a lot of it ran out, and I really had to play with that spot a lot. We got 2 coffees today, folks, and we're ready to go. I have 80 grit sandpaper, 120 grit sandpaper, 220 grit sandpaper, and 400 grit sandpaper. I think I'm going to start with 80 and 120 on all of these spots. This is going to be the only weird one with how the airflow is in here. Everything gets sucked that way, so I think with a rail on this board is the only one that's going to be weird. I have the fan set up. I'm just going to blow it that way right away. I'll have the mouth mount in. I'll move my coffees. When I do the tail, I might change up the camera view. I don't know for sure, but we'll see. There was a couple little dings on the bottom here that I'm choosing to not do anything with. They're small, and they're cosmetic, not structural. So I think it'll be okay. This board is very special. It's very unique, and I beat the shit out of it. So I think after this round, especially if these repairs look good after the fact, I'm gonna be a lot better than this board. And I mean, I surf it. It's not like I, it's not like I just am careless, but I surf it hard. And yeah, so anyways, I think going forward, this isn't going to be number one. I'm in the market for a new 7, either a more consistent wave 7-foot or another 8 like this that just doesn't have as much history and provenance and all that. Anyways, friends, let's get to sanding. Let's go. Alright guys, so I've got these down pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is glass this board only, just as an experiment, because I haven't sanded that one. However, these ones look pretty good. There is a little divot here and here. The tail is solid. I think what I'm going to do is go over this one more time right before I glass it, so I can make a little pile of Q-cell in these divots, and then glass over that. That way they'll just be filled up just enough. With that one, however, with Cat's 9, I'm just going to sand it down real nice, and I'm going to see how those react with no glass. Just because I think I did a pretty good job. For me, of course. These aren't going to be professional, but I think I really did a good job with these. So I have 1 ounce of part A and a ½ ounce of part B. I think after I glass it and then sand the excess off, I will need to glass it again. So I'm going to go 1/4 ounce of B and a ½ ounce of A. So then tomorrow I'll have the exact same amount. If it appears that I'm not going to have the same amount, I'm going to have to either rush order another shipment of this, or hope that when we get to where we're going, I'll be able to buy a kit and just put like a final coat on wherever we get to. So yeah, that was dustier than I thought. I think the fan did good. Nothing, I wasn't breathing anything in, thankfully, but maybe a little bit. We'll see. Gotta quick change the battery and we're gonna hit it again.
We
Alright friends, well, I think we did a fabulous job. One sheet of fiberglass for each ding on the rail, a little bit of resin on the deck, 2 pieces on the tail, with the exception of where Kevin already beefed it up and it hadn't broke. I mean, that's the only part that hasn't broke on the tail yet. So I did double layers on the tail, just because I know that takes the most beating. I flipped it over on its belly because a little bit of the rail was dripping down the side. I figure at this point, doesn't look like it's gonna, I don't think gravity is gonna attack us on this one. I think it's on there pretty good. So yeah, I am really happy with the outcome here. Just wait till tomorrow and then we'll come back. I have enough. I had plenty, like you saw. I wasn't going to do any resin over the repairs on the 9, but I had enough. Figured I'd just go over it. No fiberglass, just resin. Yeah, what a great day. I am really excited and happy with how this turned out. And I guess tomorrow, the only thing I don't know is how well it's going to sand off. I think it's not even 10 o'clock yet here. It's 10:42. And it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. So I saw Kat once this morning, but she had some time free up, so I'm gonna head back over there. I think probably 10 o'clock tomorrow morning we'll reconvene. Miracle of television, mere seconds for you to see what it looks like, because if I have to add another layer, we aren't leaving until Wednesday night. It's Saturday now. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. And I will either do like a wet sand at the end, or I'll do a whole nother layer of resin just over what I do, which I think is probably going to be the best idea. And yeah, boy am I excited. Boy am I glad this turned out. And we are super pumped about our trip. Numerous spots where we're going. A lot of potential. It's going to be warm. I think we might still be in our suits, but I don't know about boots or gloves. We'll see. Appreciate you guys. Let's go. Hello friends, and welcome back. Chilled Adventures, Board Repair Headquarters, LLC, worldwide. And things turned out fabulously. Fabulously. Again, for my limited repair expertise, I think this turned out great. I think between my initial mixture of Q-Cell and resin being too runny, and using perhaps a little too big of pieces of fiberglass, everything else I think went really well. Shockingly well. Let me grab the GoPro here. I took a couple passes on this spot right here with some of the sandpaper just to see what grit I would start with. I think we'll just start with the 80, quickly move to the 120 and 220, and I believe the way I'm supposed to do this is sand outside the in. So yeah, I left myself some work with the sanding. However, I think, especially the tail, this is the spot that it's historically been the most damaged part of this board. Doesn't look like there's any air bubbles. Oh yeah, Kat's board came out great. Remember, I didn't put any fiberglass sheets on here. I just, again, yes, there's like a little divot there, a little divot here. There's also a divot on each one of those little ones on the rail. But I think it'll be just fine. When I sanded these down for the last time before I did the fiberglass, I left a little bit of a pile of shavings in there. don't think it's going to do much, but... So yeah, like I kind of was alluding to in the beginning, this board is extremely special. You know, most of you know, Country Surfboards, Roger Hines, very well-known board maker and company. So yeah, this one means a lot. I do think that I need to learn how to do this, fixing my boards at least, with stuff like this. Bigger ones, I'd figure it out, but this is necessary. But I do think that with the love that I'm putting into these repairs and I'm trying to learn the right way, without putting too much brain power into the whole thing, because I'm not trying to be a board shaper, board maker, board fixer, any of that. But I need to know how to do these things, because I can't just rely on people to fix stuff that I do. Also, like I said, I think going forward, this isn't going to be the daily driver. I think only for good days, or perhaps when it's small, but not every session, Anyways, friends, we're gonna go 80 down to 400. Then I'm gonna mix up the last bit of resin, put that over it. Hopefully tomorrow morning, which is Monday, I'll come in, give it a quick wet sanding, and I think everything will be ready to go. So yeah, I don't really feel like having this thing in my mouth while I'm sanding the fiberglass. So I'll probably use this handy dandy GoPro clip and put you guys somewhere. We'll figure it out. Let's go. So, I'm not gonna lie, this fiberglass is a little more thick, as it were, than I thought. So I'm gonna take some of this sandpaper that came with the ding-all kit, and I'm gonna use that to kind of get through this first bit. Really, it's just these ridges, and this 80 grit is working, but the stuff that came with the kit is a little bit more gritty. So I'm gonna try to take the outsides. Yeah, this is working just a hiccup better. I'm going to try to take the outsides down first. Save me a couple minutes.
Holding
All right, friends. It has turned out fabulously. Stay on the light here. Alright friends, it turned out fabulously. The dings on the rail, you can barely feel where the fiberglass and the board meet. I need to do a little bit more sanding up here, but I don't want to go too deep just because I want that structural integrity on the tail. This spot right here is the belle of the ball. This is just perfect. I am really proud of how this all came together. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix up the rest of this resin. Well, first I'm going to finish sanding the tail just a little bit more. Then I'm going to mix up some resin and I'm going to put one more coat over all of this. After that, I'm going to take the 400 grit and just clean up Cat's board, and I think I'm going to take that home. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like after I sand it down. I might want to put another layer of resin over it just so it's nice and shiny. But if I don't, I'm just going to take it back to the van. And I think I'm going to start getting the van ready for our trip as we're leaving in 3 days. Probably the 18th, the evening of the 18th, or early 19th. All right, let's keep going. Let's go. about 4:30 in the morning and I have to start my shift. It's Monday. We leave in 2 or 3 days. But The board repairs have come out swimmingly, friends. Look at these. Trying to get the best view. These ones came out really good. Like, this one isn't super smooth. They all have like a little divot in there, but I feel like the process of not using fiberglass sheeting, if you don't have to, is a little more streamlined. This is the only one that's kind of like weird, and I don't know what to do. Would you like wet sand this? I'm leaving it because that's good enough for sure, especially for my skill level. But I mean, like I've been telling you guys, this side just... it's solid, nice and smooth. You really can't see any of the fiberglass sheets. It's good, not perfect by any means, but it's pretty freaking good. Let's look at the tail here before we end this vlog. I could have wiped her down a little bit, put a little water on there, wiped all the dust off. The 9 is very dusty. But yeah, this is shockingly good. It is smooth as a baby's behind. Yeah, with the current situations going on here in America, I'm not going to use that euphemism. It's as smooth as a witch's titty, as it were. I got a lot down here. I got a little that one is still kind of not cured, as it were. Some of the, yeah, there. The drip. So we're leaving it as such, friends. I am extremely proud of myself. I was gonna wax these boards up, but I think just because this trip we're going on is so epic, it could be very epic. I'm gonna wait. I think we're taking all 2, 3, 4, 5 boards for 9, for 8, my 8, my 7, and the 6-4. Taking all the boards. These are going from the garage. The van's parked right outside. They're going right into the board bags. Yeah, it's very dusty. It's very dusty, so it's probably giving you a contrast of how dusty it is. Oh yeah. Anyways, boy am I proud of myself. Yeah, don't ask me to fix your boards, but unless it's like a beater, you know, and you want me to practice. There's way better people that can do it for you, but I won't be using them anymore because Chill Adventures Surfboard Repair is in business. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Look forward to this trip vlog. I don't know how we're going to do it. Probably try to switch a couple things up. The last 2 trips, Florida, Rhode Island, have kind of been a similar vlog style, so I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. We're excited. You're excited. I gotta work today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And then we're out of town. I'll see you guys soon.